Well, good morning or afternoon, my friends. It's probably almost 1 o'clock. This is the third video for today because I've got the time to do it. I just realized that if you're seeing anything going on, it's all coffee. So, sorry, but I'm not going to redo the video. We've got a coffee stain somewhere, so we're just going to leave it. Now, I went shopping today. I just got back. $41 for what I bought. Eggs were $11 a dozen. 2 only. And I bought 2. Butter was relatively up, not like significant, but it was up. Milk was up. I can't remember what the price of it was. Bread that I like was up $2. I went by the gas station. It looks like it's almost exactly the same. It hasn't gone up or down. So there's that, but there are prices raised on a lot of things. Now, here's something we're going to get into. Remember, this is all the kind of products that you may like. And maybe you like them. So say you're a big coffee drinker and you like that place, right? Well, it's going to be very expensive and they've gotten rid of some of their blends. Say there's a certain beer you like that comes from that other country. Labatt's, Moosehead. I'm not big on their beer, but I've had some. But I don't even drink anymore. But anyway, those 2 brands, others. Well, if you're a big Labatt's drinker, it's not going to mean we're not going to have it. It's just going to cost you a heck of a lot more. Again, I put this into a video earlier that I'm really not going to go into about, but let's just suffice it to say that for right now, everything's okay. I watch things very close because I'm not working anymore. I wouldn't mind a couple days a week, but I have health problems. I have struggles, and to work every single day at almost 70 years old with the problems that I do have are just not, for me, capable. So when I hear they want to cut what I get and say, oh, it's a pariah and we got to get rid of that system. So what's a guy like me going to do who takes medication for a problem to keep it the way it is and not get worse? What am I going to do to pay my rent if you get rid of it? What am I going to do? I can't work. Physically not able to really work a full-time job. I'm old. So you can sit there and tell me that all you want to. That's not going to change anything, okay? But I did want to come on here and say, you know what? Everything has gone up. The stock market is at about 500 points more. Well, not more, but it lost, 400? But it's up to 5 something. So it's only gained 200. It didn't gain a gigantic gain. It gained, but it didn't gain. It will have to gain 3,000 to 4,000 points to get back to where it was. That I don't see. I told you guys yesterday that 42 would be the kind of keep your eyes open point. And that's what I'm saying. 39, I would say there's no recovery. I'm not going to go into a lot of other things I put out in my other video because it's the same thing. It's like they say, beating a dead horse. So we're not going there. But, all I know is, and this is another thing, a lot of Christians believe that we're in what they call, not tomorrow's the end of days, but the end times stuff is coming up, and the Jacob's trouble and all that and everything else. But a lot of them don't care because they think that the guy is going to come down here and save us all. Now, another thing that I've been into, which I told you guys about, which people don't think can happen, but technology is so good it can. It doesn't mean they're going to beam crap on the sky. The shit might be physically real. But with tech so advanced that you would buy that these guys from supposedly way out there have come to finally save the day. When in reality, it's just us fooling you. Technology is so ahead. Here's something else I'm going to get into. So, on Greg's channel last night, They talked about, I forgot which country it was, and they've got the unmanned fighter jet ready to go. So not a drone, a real fighter jet that you sit in a place and go with and drive it all over. Helicopters, same thing. Sikorsky, look it up. Check it out. Those Blackhawks can be flown remotely. I'm not saying anything. I'm just putting it out there. Make you wonder a little bit about an event that happened a little while ago. Okay? That's where I say you got to use your mind, your open availability. Your analytical and critical thinking mode. That's what you got to do. Because if you believe everything the mainstream media tells you, 75% of it's going to be baloney. So, I saw a film maybe 10 years ago. And this was on the internet, so it wasn't like but I saw the film, and there was no AI then. They were learning how to take off 747s and land them with no one in them. Which means the tech was even before then. But people don't believe anything unless they're right there seeing it. So you can say whatever you want to say, do whatever you want to do, and that's the way it is. Now, the last part of this video is not going to be a bashing video, but it is going to be a video that I put some negative comments about. Now, first and foremost, I think Pastor Paul means well with what he does, but I disagree with a lot of it. But at the end of the day, it is his channel, and he may run it the way he wants to. Okay? So, but the other day, there was this video that came out, and it said, "Help me." And I thought it was something huge. And when I got there, it was an hour-long infomercial, and it was pleading for donations. I get it. You can't work for free. I understand that. But at the same time, help me. And then an hour. And you know what? That thing only got like 3 comments when it was first put out. It may be more now, but when it first came out, he had 3 likes and 3 comments. Okay? Then the other night, again. Now, Mike from Around the World was supposed to be there. He wasn't. Hey, that's cool. But you have to stop and think about it. I got this important email from Mike from Around the World. And then leads a little bit into it and then goes, oh, but the last 2 minutes, you're going to have to go to Patreon because I can't say that here. And what are you going to do? You're going to go pay for 2 minutes of info that you might already know. So be selective. There are ways to watch Patreon free, but I'm not going to go through those. Too much spam, too much ways of getting yourself hacked, so no, we're not doing that. But today it happened again. There was a live streaming video. I should have never gone there because the first 10 minutes was selling shit. Gold, pillows, keto, collagen, over and over and over. If it's breaking, you don't put half of the video up with selling shit. Again, for any of you guys that are following Greg, when my membership runs up, I'm going to try to purchase one, okay? Because I was going to try to do it yesterday and it wouldn't let me. So I think I have to wait for it to run out and then buy one. So, but I'm not going to buy anything now because I'm limited with my money. So I'm going to wait till I don't have the membership and then I'm going to try to buy one, okay? Again, if you're involved with that channel and you know what I'm going to say, It's not a put down, but it's my view, and everybody has their own. And I do believe there's too many moderators there, because I've moderated channels. Because when you get too many moderators, you might get 2 people who like one side and 8 who like the other. And if I dare come on and say the wrong thing when the wrong moderator's on, I might get banned. Okay? There's another guy on there. I find it's just more hilarious to me than it is anything else. But the person feels they have to be the first comment. It's like, who cares if you're number 1 or number 500? I've been number 1 a lot, and I've never said it. It's like, okay, I understand that. And the other thing I don't really understand, and it's okay, again, it's not my channel, but we're not supposed to use capitals. Now, he can, and that's okay, that's his channel. But a moderator shouldn't be allowed to do all that and nobody else, unless they're your friend, which could be. They might know each other a little more than I know. But that seems kind of wrong because, well, then if he can do it, why can't I do it? The other thing that happened to me a couple times, still, great channel, love it. There, go there every single day. But there have been many times that I've commented about something huge, and someone else commented about it, and these guys kind of took the thunder, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter at the end of the day because everybody gets what's out there. But I just thought that was kind of funny. Guys, grow up. And it's you saying what I said. It's like, really, guy? It's the internet. And I still gonna buy a membership. Still gonna. But I went out to check the prices and stuff, and they was pretty expensive. This is the beginning. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to kind of get worse. And again, like I say, a 500-point gain is really only a 200-point gain because it had fallen over 3,000 points in the last 2-3 weeks. Well, 3 weeks. And yesterday was 600, so to gain 500 means it's only gained 100 really, and it's not really there. Again, it hit 42. That's what I looked for. It was there. Pretty soon, it's going to fall a little more. 39 is my tipping point. 40 could be a tipping point, but I think 39 is a tipping point. Anyway, I just wanted to come out here, tell you guys all this, and let you know where I'm sitting. So, that's the bit. Anyway, I don't want to go too long for this video because it was more about food prices and all that and everything else. And again, don't ever take any of this thing about moderators to heart. It's just my personal view about it. And again, I think having too many moderators is kind of a bad thing. You know, you should probably have 3 or 4 in the morning, 3 or 4 in the afternoon, 3 or 4 at night maybe. And the ones that aren't really on at night, even if they're there, shouldn't be allowed to moderate. My feeling. You know what I mean? Because all it takes is you to say the wrong thing. One moderator doesn't like it and you'll be gone. You know what I mean? The other thing that Greg doesn't like, he didn't say he didn't like the T-Man. He just said he doesn't like it when people come in, dominate the chat, and try to talk all about the guy. That's the difference. And when it comes to the war, I disagree with what's going on right now big time. You know what I mean? They turned their back on Israel. He's just eyeing the land, that's all. Turned their back on Israel, supports Russia. We've never done that since 1940-something. Are you kidding me? And the Ukraine did not start that war. Russia started that war. They went after old countries that were them and wanted them back. But we support that. And yet we want to go to Greenland and take their country. Well, I think the Danes are going to be very big on that, and that's not going to happen. You're not going to just march into someone's country and say, this is ours now. That's not going to happen. Or a canal. I mean, I understand what you said, but no. Now, they're letting government ships come in for free. But it's not over all hours yet. And it could be. But there's certain things I just don't agree with. You know what I mean? That was why when the you-know-who, I'm 2 more minutes, came along, I could not bring myself to cast that check. Didn't like the one side, but just enough of no on this side to say, no, I can't do it. So, again, and this is what I told you in my last video. If you want that to change, if you believe voting is legit, you better get yourself out there in the next couple of years and vote again. See if you can make that Senate House a little more even. You know what I mean? Because when you got everybody in your pocket, so okay. So here's my scenario, and then I'm going to take off. So, okay, I love bass fishing, right? That's one of my biggest things, but I haven't gone fishing in years. Well, I like trout too, but bass fishing is my thing, right? Okay. So I got 10 bass fishermen with me and 2 rainbow trout fishermen with me. Now we're going into a part of the lake that's basically all bass. These 2 guys are coming along and they're hoping they're going to get some rainbow trout. Unfortunately, all they're hooking is bass. It's the same thing. See what I mean? There's no balance. It's all one. And even though, you know whatever I mean. So again, I'm going to end my video with this so you understand where I come from and me. You'll know by after I finish it where I am and what I am. I say I'm center, but who was the best president ever? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was able to write his own speeches. He was able to make his own jokes before everything he did. He, in a thing Greg posted, did a big old deal about Poland that, you know, who could have never written. He would have never been able to write that. That guy was the best president that was ever president that we've ever had. Then I think somebody yesterday compared himself to Washington. I almost flipped my lid. I was like, are you really crazy? So anyway, it is what it is. But if you want, if you guys out there that whatever, you want it to not be the same, and you believe that it's a legit club, then you need to go vote in a year and a half. Because otherwise, it's going to stay the way it is. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there's a little bit of what they call tit for tat. Oh, you did this to me, I'm going to do this to you now that I'm in charge. Again, as I said in my last video, sitting there and not standing up for a cancer patient, that was wrong. Whether or not you agree with this person, whether or not you think they're trying to buy people's love by having him there, for the child himself, you should have stood up. And then we had old Mr. You-know-who there just for a visual. Dude's wearing a suit because everybody said he wasn't wearing suits. So he wore one. And I've told you guys this a billion times. If this guy is an advisor, why was he at a speech to Congress thing? It didn't involve money. It didn't involve any of that. But he was there. Why? And then people get all butthurt about not being from here. Well, he ain't. Isn't. Whatever you want to say. Anyway, and I got a comment from John G. Hi there. He's like the only guy that ever says much. You know, he's Canadian. But anyway, you know, I don't know how you guys are ever going to get it. You know, people just don't get it. They don't. So it's not just the country divided. It's the world divided. That's what it is. Let's put it this way. How do I say it the right way? I didn't really care for the 80s you-know-who. I didn't really care for the reality you-know-who. And I'm not much of a fan of the current you-know-who. Let's put it this way. If you're old enough and someone like me who watched wrestling when I was younger, I remember the hair match with you-know-who. Now, all of a sudden, we're doing a Vinny favor and making the wife in charge of something. Because Vinny helped him. See? But if you didn't, then guess what? He doesn't like you. No. Now, I do understand this because I do. If anybody ever watched the old movie Bat 21, where they're trying to get this guy back to the pickup point, so they're giving him golf terminology to get back there. Well, golf, believe it or not, is a great place to go discuss your politics because it's mouth to mouth, out in the open, and you're not really being recorded, and that's why they play, and that's why sometimes the golfingest guy is talking more business than he is talking golf. Okay? Now, Nixon didn't like golf, but he played golf, and that was the reason. Like, what's his name? I don't even know if he even said he was coming back over here to sign anything, because they got to have a physical signature. It can't just be, okay, I do it, I agree. He gets to come back over here and sign the paper. Sign the papers, old man. That hasn't happened. So we don't know. It could be hearsay. You know? All hearsay. And the other thing is, in 2020, 2021, a lot of us got what they called a stimulus. Okay? If, for some reason, we do get this $5,000, which I don't believe, but I could use it, then that's all it is. It's a stimulus. It's just a stimulus being renamed. That's all it is. I keep saying I'm going to end it, but I always have another thing in my mind. So, again, I said this in a few other videos, and I'm going to end it with this. If you're old enough to remember Reagan in Fort Knox in 1982, you already know the answers to the question these guys are putting out here. What they tell you will be interesting. Should they live stream it? Sure. But Ronald Reagan in 1982 put an investigation on that fort. When they got in there and opened up the vaults, just like old Mother Hubbard, the cupboards were bare. Now, there were some pallets of gold here, and some pallets of gold there, and some pallets of gold there. But full? Nope. Why? Again, $1,000 hammers, $500 toilet seats, all of that. What did they use it for? Again, third video, third statement. They used it for underground bunkers to protect themselves from nuclear war or an incoming rock or something that might do something. That is why they built them. That is what they used the money for. They're not for you. They're for the people that are what they call elite. Other countries have bunkers for their people. I think even the country from old Vladimir has them built for their people. But we don't. Then, as Pastor Paul said, in a couple of years, maybe even this year, they're supposed to have this new infrared scope that's going to sight you know what. But they already saw it in 1984. If any of you guys remember the guy Arizona that was on here that talked to me, well, his grandson or whoever it was talked to me, they showed me pictures, and they did look like, if you were like looking at him in the picture, it looked like it was across the street. Big old red ball. Now, Gil happens to say it's a comet. As big as a planet. That could be. We're still waiting to see. But now all of a sudden, oh, they got this new scope and they're going to be able to find it and blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be as big as Neptune, but it's so dark they can't see it because it's a dark star. But in reality, it's a comet. But that's why they built those bunkers. They built them so they could have a place to go. If any of you guys, it's an app, it's free. Now you can pay for it. It's called Flight Radar 24. Now you're not going to see every single thing on it. But I've noticed over the last couple of weeks that a lot of planes lose their communication. Now, some of these are military planes turning off their transponders because you can see it. You'll click on the plane, and it'll be old big C-130 or a B-52 or a couple of F-35s. They've turned their transponders off because they don't want to be seen. We shouldn't even be seeing it, but it's there. Again, we live not that far from an old military base that still lets old, not old, but current planes come and land here. Okay? Now, I look, and there'll be a C-140 on the ground there. Or an F-16. Again, for those that are not in the military know, a touch and go is this. Here's an F-16 with its wheels down. Comes in, touches the ground, and off it goes. Kind of like landing on an aircraft carrier. Maybe they overshoot it and they got to go back out. See? They do a lot of those. But that's not on TV. It's not on regular news. It's never going to be. Now, as I talked about power getting shut off and everything else, that is why you need to keep your stuff in a Faraday box if you have one, or get one. I talked about this years ago. They can just cut your power and say it's something else. And Canada might very well do that to parts of New York. Oh, they tariff us. We're going to just do it back and forth till it's 100% and you can't buy shit. Please do not take anything at the beginning of this video to heart, because the channel is the only channel I really watch. The guy has a lot of good stuff on there, and I agree with 99% of what he talks about. I'm just not a fan of the too many moderators. That's my belief. Because when it's your channel, you may run it the way you want to, and that's okay. But I don't like a lot of moderators, because then you can you just need one moderator who's a little click happy, and the next thing you know, you're not there anymore. Only thing is, YouTube cannot ban anymore, ban or block. They can hide the person, but that person can still search you and find you, and I think they can still comment, so it's not really anything. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of a worthless little thing. I don't know why you can't block people, but it's what it is. But that's what I'm saying. That's my only difficulty with the channel itself, and it's totally fine because it's not mine. There's too many moderators. I get it. I understand, because like he says, and I'm not going to name the name, but when it's nighttime, there's too many TT trolls coming in there telling us how great everything is, when we know that it actually kind of isn't. So, again, what happened was, and I said this at the beginning or in the middle or somewhere in here, people were sick and tired of this. They didn't want any more woke. They didn't want it. No more. Get this. Did it go away? No. Go to Instagram. Go to TikTok. Go to Reddit FB. Look at the reels. They're still there. All these, hi everyone, they're still there. They're not gone. Okay, they're still there. So he didn't get rid of it. And my problem too is what I've said before to people I know, over the top, kind of X-rated reels that aren't really X-rated, but they're very close. Those have no business on those social media sites for children to scroll by and accidentally see. Do they get rid of them? No. You say something about politics or sports, bingo, you're banned. But he didn't get rid of it. It's still there. See what I mean? So, not much has really changed. Some's gotten worse. Some's even. But I can't say, you know what I mean? You got to stop and ask yourself the whole thing, like the war. Now, it was not started by Ukraine. Now, did they send them billions of dollars? Yes, it was supposed to be for weapons. But who knows if it really was. But that's what it was supposed to be for. But they did send it. Now, that they did do. But that was to keep Russia off them. Now, that's not going to happen. And if we kind of side with them, what are we going to do? Go fight Ukraine? Oh, come on, guys. Give me a break. Really? Anyway, my friends, that's it. I can't go over half an hour. I was going to make it 15 minutes. Started rambling. Got out of control. Peace. I'll be seeing you, and hang in there.